Okay, so the substitute should have given you this nice little foldable that I made for each one of you, and we're going to do each one of the flaps. We're going to start up here at the top of the first flap where it says variables on one side, and you flip it open, there's two problems. So when you flip it open, one says example 1, this one right here, we're going to do this one first. You can write right on your foldable. I'm just doing it on big white paper so I can write nice and big so you can see it. So example 1 says that I have 7 parentheses x minus 3 plus 9 is greater than or equal to 37. So to solve, I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. So now I have 7x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 28. I really hope that you're not guessing and you're using a calculator, because we know you guys don't guess very well. So I'm going to distribute that 7 in, and 7 times x is called 7x. 7 times a negative 3 is going to be a negative or a minus 21, greater than or equal to 28. You're going to add the 21, add the 21. We're putting the apples with the apples and the oranges with the oranges. So now you have 7x, from this is a little dotted line here. 7x is greater than or equal to, when you add these together, you get 49. Divide by 7, divide by 7. X is greater than or equal to 7. And if you were asked to graph your inequality answer, let's just practice graphing it. We draw a number line. We'd put 7 on it. 7 would get a closed circle because you can touch 7. There's a line here, so you get to color in your dot. It says x is bigger, so then you want to shade this way for everything that is bigger than 7. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video on the screen or on your MLD, and I want you to try example 2 without talking, by yourself, just you and your calculator, and see if you can get the answer right. And then come back to the video and walk yourself through it. Okay, so hopefully you have the problem done. Let's see if you got it right. So example 2 says we have 2 times negative x plus 4 minus 3x less than 43. Okay, so I'm going to distribute first. I can't move this over because this is an x, and we always leave the x's on the same side together. So you're going to get negative 2x, because a 2 times a negative x is a negative 2x, plus 8 minus my 3x is less than 43. I'm going to add my apples and my apples. So a negative 2x and a negative 3x makes a negative 5x, plus 8 is less than 43. I am then going to subtract my 8 and subtract my 8. Don't guess. Use your calculator. Do 43 minus 8. So you have negative 5x is less than 35. Divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. X, and then get a negative 7. And be very, very careful. When you divide by a negative sign, you always have to flip your inequality. So you get x is bigger than negative 7. And if we wanted to draw that, let's practice drawing it again. I'm going to put negative 7 on my number line. There's no line down here. There's no equaling, so I cannot touch 7. So I'm going to put a circle around 7. X has to be bigger than negative 7. Bigger than negative 7 is this way. So there's examples 1 and 2, solving inequalities with one variable, or with a variable on only one side. So now we're going to go back to our foldable, and we're going to try the next one. The next example say that we have variables on both sides. So again, I'm going to do example 3, and then you're going to pause the video, and you're going to do example 4. So here we go. Example 3. I'm just going to copy it down. Negative 5x minus a 7 is greater than negative 2x plus my 17. This is no different than what we were doing where there's an equal sign here. We have to put the apples with the apples and the oranges with the oranges. So first thing I'm going to do is all these negative signs, I'm going to put plus a negative 7 so that we know it's a negative. And now I'm going to put the apples with the apples. So I'm going to move my 2x this way. So I'm going to add 2x and add 2x. Negative 5x plus 2x's makes negative 3x's. You still have that negative 7 you have to drop down, is bigger than, those undid each other, and then you have to drop down your 17. I'm going to add 7 and add 7. The 7 right now is negative or plus a negative, so to undo that negative we have to add it. You're then going to get 3x, these undo each other, is bigger than 24. Use a calculator, don't guess. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, and be very careful because we're dividing by a negative, so x is going to be less than negative 8. Okay, again, so you're going to pause the video, don't talk to your neighbor, try number 4, and then come back and let's see if you did it right. Okay, so let's see if you got this right. So first things first, we're going to put the apples with the apples and the oranges with the oranges. We're going to combine like terms. This is a 5x and this is a negative 8x or a minus 8x. So we're going to put them together, but first 5x plus a negative 8x plus a negative 4 less than or equal to negative 4 plus 3x. So again, I'm going to put these together. 5 plus a negative 8, negative 3x plus negative 4 is less than or equal to negative 4 plus 3x. I'm going to add my 3x, and if you add it to one side, I'm going to add it to the other side. These undo each other. You're left with a negative 4 is less than or equal to negative 4. 3x plus 3x makes a 6x. And then I'm going to add this 4 to the other side, so plus 4, plus 4. Negative 4 plus 4, I plussed it or I added it because to undo a negative you have to add. 0 is less than or equal to 6x. Then you're going to divide by 6. 0 divided by 6 is just 0. So 0 is less than or equal to x, or x is bigger than or equal to 0. So if we wanted to draw that one, you put a 0. It gets a closed circle because it equals it, and this says that x is bigger. Remember, this is like an alligator, and he's always going to go chomp, 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 and eat the bigger things. So it's eating x. So all my x's are bigger. Bigger than 0 is in this direction. Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to go back to our foldable again, and we're going to do the next one, fractional inequalities. Please don't freak out. I know that you love fractions. They're your favorite, so we can do this. It's okay. Okay, so here we go. Let me get some paper real quick. Okay, so we're on example 5 down here. I'm just going to copy it down. Example 5. I have 5x over 6 plus 1 over 2, or 1/2, is bigger than or equal to 4 plus 2x over 3. Okay, there are lots of ways to do this problem, but I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and guess, make an educated guess, what would be the easiest way for you to do it. And I think that the easiest way for you to do this would be to multiply everything, both sides of the equation, by a number so the fractions go away. So I need a number that 2 and 3 and 6 all go into. Well, 2 and 3 and 6 all go into 6. So I'm going to multiply everything by 6. Everything. So that means this 6 right here is going to go into every single thing right here. Everything. So I'm just going to write it out. I'm not going to simplify. I'm just going to write it out. So 6 goes to every fraction. So I have my 6 times my first fraction plus a 6 times my second fraction is bigger than or equal to a 6 times my 4 plus a 6 times my 2x over 3. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start on this side. This 6 and this 6 are going to cancel out or undo each other. If you don't see that, 6 times 5 would have made 30, and then divided by 6 would have made me back to 5 again. So for this first thing, I just have 5x plus, these are just numbers, so 6 times 1 is 6 over 2 is 3, or you could type in your calculator 6 times a half, half of 6 is 3, bigger than or equal to 6 times 4, 24, don't guess, plus 6 times 2 on top right here, it would be 12x over 3. 3 goes into 12 4 times, so this is really just like a 4x. And now this looks so much better, no more fractions. So we're just going to solve it. Apples and apples, oranges and oranges. I'm going to subtract my 4x over. 5x minus 4x is going to get me an x, plus my 3 is greater than or equal to 24. Minus 3, minus 3, x is playing with 3, they're adding to unadd, we're going to subtract. X is bigger than or equal to 21. Okay, so what you're going to do now is there's example 6 and then one more flat. I'm going to stop the video at this point in time. I want you to try problem 6, and then I want you to go back to Edmodo. There's a second video posted, and start the next video to see if you got problem 6 right.